Hey chat, how's it going? Wait, here we go. Welcome guys. Would you arrive? Back in the 3 days was my peak viewership. Yeah, in the quite early days actually. I mean, luckily I'm kind of in a spot where I don't necessarily have to like worry about the numbers every single day or something, which is nice. So I appreciate that. And I can actually stream stuff that I know will lead to less viewers sometimes, like today. Because what we are about to do is rework crafting and some stuff like that, and then play some Dragonkin. Hi Bassett. How are you feeling about LE Season 2 and D4 Season 8 coming up? Well, last Epoch, I'm very excited. I mean, Season 8, you know, I'm also excited for it because the changes they are making are pretty good. I just hope they would do like also somewhat fundamental, you know, adjustments and stuff like that, which they kind of like neglected now. So I'm unhappy about the stuff they didn't do, but I'm happy about the stuff they did do. So, not the worst, I guess. Also, look at that, guys. I got some meat cooked by Nini with some really nice marinade, garlic and thyme and some stuff, and some potato puree. Very good. I had a big portion. I didn't want to keep you guys waiting for too long. Nini added a new emote. Ah, yeah, arrive. Okay. Sehr gut. It's just the already hype for LE. You don't know how long to play Season 8 for. I mean, Season 8 comes out like almost a month after last Epoch. So I think for me, this will probably be the time when I'm already kind of like done with last Epoch for them, you know, and then go D4. So that's fine. We're also gonna get PoE at some point. They still haven't said anything. I was originally hoping for the 20th of March or 21st, but I don't really see that happening anymore. It's 10 days from now. Days of us fighting bosses mindlessly may be over. No, they're not over. It sounds like you will maybe fund a bit less, just because of less availability of the materials. But realistically, you wouldn't try to like force yourself to struggle against those bosses. Just, you know, to do them on Torment 4, for example. If they are hard, he's gonna do them on Torment 3 if you can't do it on Torment 4. So, you know, you're just gonna accept that you get an item less per kill or something, and that's it. So with like the way the difficulty system is set up, I wonder what Season 9 will be like. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, what they are doing with these powers is usually like a relatively, you know, good and decent system, right? Like it's kind of fun to like, you know, experiment with the stuff, do combos, and then it's like slightly different every time, but it's also like very unoriginal, you know? You want more, right? You want something with items, you want not necessarily just borrow power as well, right? Or it could be something new to introduce that actually sticks around, right? So that could be a revolution. A revolutionary idea. Introduce something and don't throw it away after 3 months, man. That would be crazy, I think. Imagine that. Season 8, Season of Deja Vu. No. Holy shit, 5 tier 2 sub gifts from Isaac. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Nice to see you here, by the way. That's huge. And now I do remember the name because you mentioned it to me. I didn't realize about the, underscores, but now I actually do remember it. Unfortunately, I don't have many tier 2 sub emotes yet. But I have this one. I need to add some more emotes. I'm planning to do some more emotes. All the underscores. Yeah, I had a little talk earlier with Isaac. I'm gonna see more of him soon. I've forsaken us tier 2 subs. I'm sorry. And yeah, would you be happy with like more recolored emotes like the wudijo? Well, so many slots actually. Like they really expanded the amount of like emote slots you have these days, especially animated ones. That's the innovative way of Blizzard doing seasons. Yeah, you generally don't expect much innovation from Blizzard. But they're playing it too safe, I think. Even though what they're making is usually, fine and interesting. Yeah, it would be nice if it was like something like much more fundamental, like fundamentally different, right? Every season is just season of power. You get a bunch of extra support power and play the same shit. I mean, to be fair, these kind of season themes are actually really good at just like breaking up the existing meta in some way, right? Because something like this is a very easy and, let's say, low effort way, basically, to change every single build in the game for a season. So that's kind of the strength of a season theme like this, right? Every build will feel different, no matter what. You don't have to touch every single build. So it's kind of the good part about it, I think. Because someone who just, plays Twisting Blades every single season or whatever, they will have something new. But yeah. You can also do this in other ways. So hopefully at some point we're gonna get some new ideas. You don't need new people pulling the strings or new devs, whoever is the problem. Yeah, I wonder where this is coming from. If my meme build doesn't work, I will play TP Shadow Clones again. So I know they did fix a lot of stuff with the Shadow Clone lately in Season 7 already. And apparently more fixes are coming in Season 8. But I'm not sure if like everything is going to be fixed. So especially poison imbuement was still a problem. Yeah, I'm not sure about the poison imbuement, so we have to see on the PTR. Yeah. I know that Ava will do a lot of testing on that, and maybe probably, so maybe I can keep you updated about that. Kinda wish they were taking this chance to rework some mythics and bring new ones and take out underused ones. Yeah, honestly, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to retire some items. Especially some of the mythics. Like, my main issue with like the current itemization is, apart from like tempering and masterworking being kind of awful, especially masterworking is like a problem, I think, with how it works. But the items themselves, if you're looking at the uniques that you have, basically the entire left side of the inventory has just kind of been power crept into more damage multipliers, right? You have a Perdition Helm, we have a Shroud of False Death, we have a Tybalt's Will or something, or like, some pants like Casimir's and whatnot. Everything is just like raw damage. Even the fucking boots. You just put like a utility aspect that says you have 30% more damage, And I think that's a huge problem. You don't mind to do the power thing, but maybe introduce new shit and mechanics tied to it. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, you know, it's nice that they do like a bit of a rework of like how Whispers worked. I felt like Whispers were kind of like, you know, too barren a little bit. And if, for example, they keep around these like, I don't know what they're called, witch hunt zones now from Season 7, if those are actually just like a permanent replacement for how Whispers work, I would be okay with that, you know? Because then this would actually feel like an upgrade to the existing game. But I'm not sure if they even do that. It could very well be we're gonna open up the PTR tomorrow, and the Whispers are just back to what they were. There's no Raven anymore to turn in the Whispers. Like, I don't know. Probably. Just stop. Major Raven is gone. Well, I don't know. They didn't really explain exactly what will stick around. Someone on Reddit was telling me that allowing rogues to do fire or lightning damage would ruin the class. I don't think so at all. I think especially fire would make some sense. You know, we already have grenades and these kind of things. We could definitely argue for fire element on rogue. And lightning, why not? Nobody's playing D4 for RP. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't underestimate the amount of people that play the game very casually and really care about the class fantasy. So I think, you know, on one side you want to balance this and then still add extra options. But something like fire theme on rogue, like a fire imbue or lightning imbue, and you know, maybe a skill goes with it or something. I think that's okay. It's like roguey enough with like how the game works. If you're looking for good DNB and Neurofunk sets, check out Darkshire on event sets on YouTube. Thank you. My place is mostly synthwave though. I used to have a drum and bass playlist though, very long ago. Was good. They should have stack up the Whispers as high as you want and turn them in when we want. I think it's fine that you are forced to turn them in at some point, so you just don't like do like 100 Whispers and then do it all at once or something. But we need like a larger limit at least. Like this limit of 10 10 Grim Favors and then turn in is like so fucking annoying. Right? Like you start the Whisper zone with like 6 Whispers completed, then you do like one thing that gives you like 1, and then you do like another thing that gives you 3, then you have to turn it in, and then, you know, while you are full, you can't even progress the other one, right? And then you start killing more monsters, and then like a minute later you realize, oh shit, I'm full, I have to go back. You didn't get anything. Like the best part is always like in Helltides, man. Like you go into the Helltide, and then the Blood Maiden spawns, and right in that moment someone kills something somewhere 3 screens away. It completes your Whispers. You kill the Blood Maiden, you get nothing. You have to TP away, turn in, come back, do another Blood Maiden. Oh my god, man. It's so bad. I chatted you in Discord. I did not. That was probably a scammer. There's someone trying to scam people with my name and avatar, so be careful. How would I compare gearing in D4 compared to PoE 2? I mean, PoE 2 does it really badly right now, to be fair. You know, the gearing in PoE 2 is really bad. So I would say it is actually done better in D4, right now at least. But I mean, there's no doubt that PoE 2 will easily overtake that very soon. You know, at least once they're out of early access. So the items themselves are more interesting in PoE because there's like more stuff and more roles, and you know, there's like that is done better, but the gearing itself, like the progression of it, is kind of bad, I feel. Because we don't really have like any crafting and much control over it. So it's just kind of like a lottery. But on the other hand, you have like really cool chase items in PoE 2 that don't exist in Diablo 4, right? In Diablo 4, there's like no chase for anything. You know, you get everything that you want in like a day, and then you're done. And then you get like maybe very small upgrades on there. And in PoE, you know, you can grind for weeks, and you always have like something to go for, and you have like these crazy uniques that you can get from certain bosses, and you know, the crazy T0 uniques like Astramentus that you can try to chance or like buy or whatever. Yeah, like in E4, there's nothing that is so exclusive that only very few people get it, right? They tried to do something like that with like the mythic items originally, right? But they made them like way too rare. Like basically Shaco and, you know, Grandfather and Doombringer, like they basically just straight up didn't exist until season 2, right? There were like 3 people per season that got one of them, or something like that. And then you couldn't even trade it, right? So that was a bit too exclusive. But it was kind of like on the right track at least. And then it just made it so that everyone can just farm them, you know? And then you do like your 10 hours of Duriel jail per season, and you get like all the mythics you want. And that's it. You know? You don't even have to do that many hours, to be honest, these days. You can do it much less. Usually it's like one evening, you blast like a bunch of like Duriels and whatever. Did I watch the movement speed build? I did watch it, yeah, like when it came out actually. Yeah, I need to build it next race. It's harder to have chase items in D4 as the economy is cooked. Well, you could make chase items, you know, part of the crafting process as well, so that they are bound. No? You could make them part of some challenge, some RNG thing, some kind of like, you know, grind that you have to do. This wasn't a Temporaris video. I know which video it is, one because I've seen it. What do I think of the new Sunbird amulet for Spiritborn? Well, we're about to find out, because that's the first thing I'm gonna try tomorrow. And we're gonna see if I can maybe cook up some, at least preliminary planner for it. Are you reacting to the PoE2 cope teasers? Sure. I saw them last night already. Yeah. Well, there's one cool thing actually. So there's two no support gems. Okay, essences look a little bit cooler, sure. The support gems are both kind of awful, I feel. One is like a war cry support that does like an explosion when the armor is broken. It looks like this. So first of all, you have to break the armor without killing them, somehow. And then you do the explosion. Boom. Wonderful. And then there's this perfection support, which seems really bad, to be honest. So it gives you a 5% damage buff, stacking 3 times, lasting 6 seconds, after you have perfectly timed your snipe or your perfect strike. And it will remove all stacks if you fail once. So this is very good for perfect strike and kind of bad for snipe, I guess. But the thing is that I'm not sure if this 5% damage per stack will actually work on the first shot. If it doesn't work on the first shot, meaning you get like a minimum of 5%, then I think this is really bad. What do I have in my build? Yeah. Let me see. On my snipe. Thanks, Blower, by the way. So Snipe here has window of opportunity, super critical, heft, close combat, and I have unbreakable. Okay, so this would actually be like a free extra damage buff. Yeah, because unbreakable is kind of whatever, to be honest. So I think I didn't even have a 6-link. I think I'm not sure if I had any 6-link. Maybe I had a 6-link Stormcaller, but no snipe. So yeah, in that case, there is actually like, you know, some reason to use this. I guess you can just go with it. So I wouldn't really worry about it. If the 5% works on the first shot, it's fine. Because most of the time you do like one shot and that's it. You know, like any rare pack, you do like one snipe, boom, that's it. And then on the boss, sometimes you do more, you know. But then it will kind of ramp up and, you know, most bosses die pretty fast when you have good gear. So, okay, it's something, I guess. But it's a very small number for a very conditional effect. And then comes the big thing. This is actually big. Weapon lock. So what people used to do is they would like open the inventory, take the weapon, swap weapon, put the weapon in, and this would swap the talents around so that they can do a boss. And now you can actually use the same weapon without doing all the swapping. You can just lock it in. And that's really cool. That's actually huge. Because this will actually allow people to do this a lot more. You just swap it and it will use the same weapon. So that's cool. That's actually a big thing, because this will make people use this feature a lot more. And it will actually, they will actually absolutely balance all the bosses around this stuff. Basically. Which will also mean that we will realistically not really see a lot of builds that will actually use two different types of weapons. There will be, you know, most builds will either have something like the Sigil of Power stuff, like for spellcasters. You know, that's what people use, for example, on Spark. Like you swap weapon, Sigil of Power, and then like a curse or something. You swap back and then you attack, just to buff yourself. Or, you know, you swap for, you know, some kind of boss killing passives instead of defensive passives, or you swap to damage instead of AoE, or something like that, right? You know, these kind of things. And they will absolutely balance everything around this, I think. You're gonna be expected to have some kind of like buff for your main setup instead of actually having two separate setups. I think two separate setups and this whole like, you know, the way that I envisioned this with like, I don't know, you have like one fire stuff and then you do, you know, fire skills and then you have like a cold stuff and you start throwing comments or something. This will not happen. People will just do this. Which is a bit sad because, you know, the vision is kind of dead there. But who knows, maybe at some point I will actually add some kind of cool, you know, support for this stuff. Yeah, it's okay for like a boss and a map swap, but on the other hand, it's also sad, you know, with the potential that the system has. But I think realistically, this is going to be the biggest extent of what this will be used for. Oh, that's going to lean into immunity mobs, despaired. Oh shit. Yeah, I think immunities is not happening. But by PTR tomorrow? Yes. But anyway, this is up. This is what we have for PoE 2 now. I will race next Sunday, yeah. I mean, still in the PTR, but I think by then I'm probably going to be done with the PTR. The PTR is kind of small. It's not that much to do there. Maybe I even try some stuff like Barb and so on the PTR and see what's up. Experiment a bunch more with the boss powers. So that's going to be fun. Okay, I'm done here. It's crazy that all I want is LE now. Yeah, I mean, last Epoch is going to look it's looking very promising. I think it's going to be big. We're going to try to race on Sunday, Merc again. Yeah, we'll do Merc again. Like, realistically, I don't really have the time to practice another class to the point where I have a chance of winning at this point, you know. I will be doing a lot of D4 this week, and then, you know, what else? And then it's gonna raise Merc. And also, like, you know, both of my races so far were absolutely abysmal on the Merc. So I want to have at least one good run. And get like a sub 3 hour time or something. Will there be new bosses added to it? Yeah, no. I think all the new bosses will be on a PTR, I guess. Will the crowd control changes affect every single rogue build? Pretty much. I mean, when it comes to like at least like pit and stuff, you need to stagger the bosses to kill them. And this means like basically every rogue build usually has the Fist of Fate. And if not, they have at least some Worldly Fortune Tempers or something like that. But yeah, realistically, Rogue is gonna get pretty fucked in Season 8. Because they didn't change the stagger system. I mean, you will still be able to play Rogue just fine, but when it comes to like any kind of like higher tier content, in the pit especially, it's gonna be very bad. I think the one shining star on Rogue will be Death Trap. Death Trap looks like it's getting stronger than it is now. Already being the second strongest build, with the best build being annihilated next season. Death Trap is gonna be very powerful, I think. Rain of Arrows is the strongest currently, and that's just gonna get nuked basically. Well, yeah, pretty much. And Death Trap is actually kind of okay on bosses. It has relatively fast boss kills, even when they're not staggered. Will Exposure see any use? What Exposure? You'll do the same as this season, Dance and Ice into Death Trap? I think I will do the same, but I will switch to Death Trap way earlier. Like last time I played like Dance on Ice for like 50 hours or something. Like the first 3 days straight or whatever, or 4 days. And I think I was gonna switch to Death Trap way sooner. Because going into Torment 4 with Dance of Knives, it's just not happening until they have like really good gear, I think. Like with Torment 4 being like 5 times harder, trick attacks nerf, and so on. Like you need some serious damage on Dance of Knives to make that Torment 4 viable. Ah, the Trap Keystone. No, that's not the wrong name actually. I just forgot about it. That is actually... I haven't really checked that out yet. It may be decent, but usually close quarters ends up being something like a 150 to 200% bonus plus the attack speed, I think. Exposure will be ×2, and then let me see that again. I mean, the reduce active cooldown of your traps is completely pointless because you have preparation and 10 seconds cooldown. You just like instant reset your death trap all the time, so this cooldown effect is useless. At least for like a typical death trap build. And then 100% damage. Now the advantage is here you don't have to stack close damage damage to close enemies. Sorry. So you can get a better tempo instead on your offensive slots. But I think realistically, it's still gonna be close quarters, unless you really don't want to use a marksman skill in your setup. Because for close quarters, you need a marksman skill, so I usually use barrage. Now there is one way to do this, which is instead of barrage, you play poison trap as your second core skill, basically. However, this will probably not work out very well, as realized. Because Beastfall Boots now works with Death Trap, which means that Death Trap will give you resources from Aftermath, filling your resources fully, and then Death Trap will also consume it. So let's say you start a fight with full resources, you press Death Trap, you have no resources, then you have full resources, and Beastfall is ready. And if you then press Poison Trap, the Poison Trap will be buffed by Beastfall Boots, and you have no resources again, and then you press Death Trap again, filling your resources, but then there's no resources to buff the Death Trap. So realistically, you can't do the Poison Trap stuff to get off the Death Trap. So instead, you'd have to not use any other core skill. you have to not use close quarters or exposure. Sorry. Yeah, you have to use exposure actually. You go exposure just to get this damage buff. You don't go close quarters. But you also don't use poison trap or barrage. Instead, you just use concealment. So that's what you're actually gonna do. So use concealment and then you get Dance Macabre. So you do Death Trap, Concealment, Death Trap, Concealment, Death Trap, Concealment. And you get a 75% buff there all the time. Now, technically, you could still do Barrage and go close quarters. And just use Barrage like once every 8 seconds. But it also means like once every 8 seconds, one of your Death Traps will just not be buffed by the Peaceful Boots. And realistically, you have around 150 energy. Meaning you get like a buff of 120% or something. Yeah. Peaceful Boost is 112.5%. So a bit more than double. And if you have more resources, even more. So yeah, you would give that up like once every 8 seconds. Let's say you do like 10 casts in 8 seconds. One of them would lose the buff because you have to press Barrage. If you go close quarters, which means you lose something like a 5, 6, 7% damage or so. Not too much actually. So close quarters might still be the best, but you will not spam Barrage. Instead, you will just press Barrage once every one. Actually, you can do it with something like Heartseeker if you want. You don't even have to do a Barrage anymore. So yeah, I think it will probably remain just a close quarters build. But instead of spending the resources with Barrage, you'll just do like Heartseeker. Let me see my current Season 7 planner. Where is it? Here's Death Trap. So, how much do we have on the close quarters? 233%, man. Yeah, you can't beat that. This has 30% attack speed and this kind of buff. That's a lot. And the thing is that you actually don't need a lot of additive damage on this build. So even if you could temper something else that is not close quarters, let's say you go damage production route or something, it actually doesn't matter that much because you have the grenade stuff, right? Yes, Caltrap, Smoke Grenade, and Death Trap receive your stun grenade benefits. And then you have the grenade glyph here. That gives you a lot of additive. Yeah, 1360, that's a lot. You don't need any other tempers. So close quarters will just be the best anyway. It's just like one replacement we're gonna do is like one of the Paragon boards needs to be Dance Macabre. And I mean, for pushing, you can get rid of Dash or Shadow Step. Probably Dash. And you just have only one of them, and you can put Concealment there, and then you can do Dance Macabre. And then this becomes like Heartseeker. And for farming, I guess you don't really care, but you can probably remove the Caltrops. It's not really a reason to have Caltrops here. This can just be Concealment anyway, and you can just have the Dance Macabre. So I guess for pushing, you put Caltrops instead of Dash. And this is permanently going to be Concealment. Rip Exposure. I mean, Exposure did get a nice buff. It will actually allow you to play stuff like Death Trap and like even the Poison Trap stuff from a much earlier stage. But I guess eventually you will get to the point where you just go close quarters. Although I haven't tried to cook like a real, like full Poison Trap build. But I'm also not sure if that's possible. I think the best way to play Poison Trap will be to just rely on preparation and Death Trap resets. And then you're basically just playing a Death Trap build in a scuffed version. So I don't think you really care about like resetting your Poison Traps actively with Exposure. But you can do that relatively fast. With Barrage, for example, you can just blast into packs. Also, I realized to some degree they did nerf Exposure, because Exposure had these stun grenades. They actually did a pretty good amount of damage. Even though they didn't benefit from many stun grenade buffs, but on their own, for like especially low level stuff, they were pretty good. D3 login. Good luck, ma. The pushing build this season used Conceal, Caltrops, Smoke, TB, Heartseeker, Death Trap. Interesting. Yeah, TB is a bit faster than the other skills, so you can like do the stuff fast, but you have like no dash or smoke. No dash or shadow step. Oof. I think you might see a full range trap thrower. I mean, it's definitely a fun concept to try to make. I don't think it's gonna be a very good build, but maybe I'm gonna be surprised. Good question, Martin, by the way. What special powers for Season 9? Hobgoblin, Elven, Dragon, Warlock, Giant, Demon, Imp, Spirit, Ghost, Orc, Angel, God, Ranger, or maybe Mermaid, Naga, Troll, Shaman. Who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Wait a minute, did it change Poison Trap to now also go to where you aim? I think it's because of Scoundrel's Letters, right? The trap skills can be thrown and will spawn a death trap every 10 seconds and cast. You step through the shadows to a death trap and cast, gaining 30% increased damage for 5 seconds. Yeah, honestly, all of this just seems to like giga buff death trap to the moon. It's gonna be wild, actually. Death trap is gonna be such a crazy build. Because now you also move with your main ability that also pulls in the entire screen and kills it. Like, it's actually gonna be completely cracked. You can do like 60-second pit runs with this. You do like dash, shadow step, death trap, and jar rune for teleports. You're gonna be flying, man. S+++. It doesn't have that kind of damage for that. But it's gonna be pretty far up there, I guess. Earthquake is getting something like a, I don't know, ×5 nerf or something. Bloodwave is gonna go way down. What else is there? Cataclysm, basically. I'm not sure if that's completely RIP, but definitely going way down. So yeah, something like Death Trap is actually gonna end up one of the strongest builds out there. It's actually getting buffed quite a bit, despite like the trigger attacks nerf and potentially the CC nerfs might not hurt it that much. Poison Trap will spawn one. Yeah, but only every 10 seconds. You get a Death Trap from the Poison Trap. In Scoundrel, you can throw Poison Trap and a Death Trap teleports to there. Yeah, the Death Trap will only teleport you when you press it. So the random spawn Death Trap will not teleport you. But he can throw it. Cataclysm is still OP. Okay, maybe it's still OP actually. You just have to be more careful now with the timing. And you can still get guaranteed all power from provocation. And I guess guaranteed crit chance is, yeah, you can just stack it up. But I guess you're gonna use Quax Rune. Quax Rune is not gonna work anymore. So there will be some nerfs there, I suppose. But I guess Cataclysm might actually be the strongest build then. Maybe followed by Death Trap or something. Or maybe Cataclysm, Earthquake, Death Trap, or something like that. IVRN is there reliability for Blood Mist and Endurial evade power and Blood Mist evade aspect. Well, we have no idea how those things interact. So I guess you have to try it tomorrow. And realistically, I expect this Durian power to be more of a gimmick than anything. Kind of funny to look at like, these tooltip values, and it says it does like 122,000 damage. And it's just like a tooltip. Like, what's this going on? 700,000. Why are these numbers so high? The hype for Ice Shard build. Yeah, apparently using that helm is a downgrade to the currently existing Ice Shard build. So that's what I heard. So I'm not really sure about that. It would be cool if that becomes good though. I would like to play some Ice Shards. I was actually thinking about doing Ice Shards in Season 7, but that didn't make it work after all. There's no endgame testing tomorrow for 48 hours. That's not really true. They just don't have the boost. You can still use your existing characters and do whatever you want. I mean, I'm not sure if, like, what did they change? They made like 1 to 25 a bit slower and stuff, right? I might try a little bit of like, leveling and see how long it takes. But I guess realistically, we don't really learn anything new there. But at least like doing like one character maybe to like 60 or something like that will give us a bit of an idea of what's going on. I might just do like one run for the campaign and see how that goes, and maybe like one run doing like seasonal stuff. Actually, there's no seasonal stuff, right? So we just like do, what did we do? Just all the strongholds, I guess. Yeah, even if copy is disabled, I still have the old characters though. Like I don't think they're gonna wipe everything. I think you still have the old characters. But yeah, maybe they're gonna completely disable. That would be weird though. To actually disable everything and delete the characters. But who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. Okay, let's check out this, what is that thing even called? Amulet. Sunbird's Gorget. Like, the stats on it are actually cracked. Like, 3 really good passives and some movement speed. Picking up a Storm Feather forms a firestorm around you. Pay 5 for additional Storm Feathers you pick up identifies the firestorm. Increasing its damage by times 100, but not refreshing its duration. Yeah, so there's basically 2 ways to do this. One is like falling feathers aspect, and the other one is recalling feathers aspect, I think. Yeah, falling feathers, moving with a mobility skill or evade spawns storm feathers along behind you. But I think this is really bad. I'm gonna try this real quick actually. But I remember trying this and I really found it awful. But I'm not sure how many is actually spawning. I should check it out. And the real way to do this, I think, is going to be recalling feathers, which is actually what we use for the soar build. We actually have that on Maxwell, but I think it's archived right now from last season. It will basically be the soar build. You just like soar, jump down, vortex, everything automatically from the other aspect. And this will give you 10 feathers, so you're gonna get 2 stacks of this thing per jump. That was an update on D4. When did that happen? Now recalling feathers aspect and empowered feather aspect still cancelling each other. I don't think I've ever used empowered feathers. So, no idea. Imagine if rebounding feathers works. Which one? Now, one thing interesting to try on Dude, there's a 3 GB patch. Is this the Goblin patch? I think I never downloaded it. One thing that would be interesting to see is if you can somehow abuse Noxious Resonance on Spiritborn again. I know people were doing this with Lifelink in Season 7, which actually turned out to be the strongest Spiritborn pushing build, but it's like, you know, completely stupid. But there might be some kind of like poison powers that we can look at here. Let's see if that's the thing, poison. Let's search for it. Here, Ashava's Poison Breath. Hitting an enemy affected by damage over time spawns a wave of acid that deals 400% poison over 4 seconds. Applies 10% more for each 1% of the target's current life affected by damage over time. Okay, that is bad actually, because we constantly remove the poison from the target, so we can't actually poison them up to do more of it. Once per activation, damaging an enemy with your main boss power also applies 45 poison damage to it over 3 seconds. So this could maybe work if you can somehow apply a certain boss power like 10 times per second or something. Skirk's Toxins. When an enemy applies damage or time effect to you, apply 1000 poison damage to them. When you take damage or time effect, you have 5% chance to be healed instead. Okay, that doesn't help us either. Yeah, okay, I don't think there's really any possibility to make like a Noxious Resonance season theme exploiting setup on a Spiritborn. I don't know, maybe this is gonna be enough even without this extra scaling, but I doubt it. 400% is not very much. You can do way bigger poisons yourself. And this wave might potentially take very long to complete. You know, if the wave actually lasts 2 seconds, you get 1 wave every 2 seconds or some shit. It's not gonna be much. What if you use a glove that makes all damage you take as poison? It says when an enemy applies a damage or time effect to you. So I kind of doubt it works with the glove. But it's a good idea, we can try it. It doesn't sound like it should work. It's a pretty useless patch, we've barely seen any goblins. I heard that Nahanto actually has like a good spawn rate. And I guess you can do like the dungeon grind in a party. Does it continuously work? Lastly checked after 5 minutes in a pit, it cancelled. Wait, what exactly we are in? Okay, I just want to check this feathers aspect right now. What was that again? Alright, yeah. Falling feathers. Moving with a mobility skill or evade spawns storm feathers along behind you. As weird as I actually did it all with my old characters here from last season. Because I was like, yeah, we have PTRs now and we can copy everything. And you can make characters easily now. I really hope that they're going to give us more than 1000 opticite though per click. When we go to the PTR NPC. The recalling feathers aspect, empowered feathers aspect, and Wushnak Pa. For some reason a combo would not cause no feather to spawn. It might have mostly to do with Wushnak Pa if you're trying to make something into a mobility skill. I guess you're trying to do Wushnak Pa Hunter for the mobility tag. Wushnak Pa actually got a buff. Okay, so let's see this here. Okay, I just like take some random item here. What do we have here? Kekeleke. Reductive forces. Can we just take some ring or something?
Well, there's something special.
Okay, let's try this. Oh my god, how do I play this game? I have probably good outdoor fun in a season with no outdoor content. Yep. I mean, it might still be good like dungeons and hordes and stuff. So if that actually has the damage to kind of like one-time stuff in Torment 4, that would be really nice. I think people would be looking forward to something like that. I'm gonna try to get that going. Did they say when the PTR will be downloadable? That should be pretty much exactly in 24 hours or so. I didn't equip that thing. What build are we on right now? Quill. Yo, there's actually one person on my friend list online here. Other than a clan. Let's see. There's 3 people actually on my friend list. Holy. Logging in. Ah, that's actually not a bad amount of feathers. I just realized. This is way more than I thought it would be. Now the thing is, it depends on the distance, it seems. This was only 4. Let's try to do like as long as possible. This is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15, 16. Not bad actually, not bad. Just need Hinekora pops now. $16 stacks. Now this will not actually interact with us, right? Going like Eagle Power. I need to try this. It just gives you the bonus, which is the same buff. Like here we get the buff, and then if you collect the feathers you get more of the buff. And then we attack. But I don't think this will actually, like, you know, help with the amulet. What is the aspect again? Only feathers. Well, let's try to spawn. Let's try to like jump exactly where we are. Do we get anything? No, we get 0. Okay. There's no colors here, right? So how big is the vacuum? Yeah, we're gonna do this now. They're all offense. Okay, also the empowered feathers. Eagle skills have up to a 48% chance to spawn a storm feather at your target. Each storm feather you pick up now also reduces the mobility skill cooldown by 0.5. This is a resource power. So you have to put it on the ring. 48%. Quill only has relatively good lucky hit. So maybe you can do some shenanigans with that instead. And instead of like soaring around, you just get like a, you know, insane amount. Like if you have like a big pack actually. This could be a little bit like playing Andariel Spiritborn. Oh, I wonder if they fixed Andariels actually. For sorry. If they fixed unhealing hits for Andariels. I talked to Bjorn about this, and I think they wanted to fix that because it didn't work. Only under some weird circumstances where you like snapshot it in some weird way. Let's take some other glove here. Do we have some glove? Let's make one.
Take a chance, wanderer. Very nice. But
Free to quill volley. Okay. 29% chance to spawn a overlaid target. Let's just see what happens. We have Midnight Sun, so we can spam. Soar and Feathers are just for Hunter cooldown. Ah, true, when you make Hunter a mobility skill with Wishnak Power, then you can get the cooldown reduction. And then you use the Empowered Feathers. Okay, so okay, let's just see like how many feathers you're gonna get if you do this. This is on single target. Yeah, we see the buff here. This is the buff. It's actually interesting how when you pick up a new feather, it refreshes the duration, even though it has an individual timer for every stack. So it doesn't continuously take down once every 2 seconds, but if you pick up a new one, it will actually go up again and refresh the timer. So it seems very slow on single target. Let's try multiple. Can I spend these stacks somehow? Let's just wait. Hi, Dr. Jaro, by the way. Yeah, the problem is that now these feathers like spawn everywhere. Yeah, it's like, too slow. How much like hit can I realistically get? Let's say I have a Fist of Fate, I get like double the amount of feathers. Yeah, sure, right? But do we have any lucky hit here right now? We already have 17.5 from I don't know what. So yeah, let's say with a Fist of Fate, if you wanted to do that, you could do like double. But it's like way too slow. It's like 4, 5, 7, 8. Like I do one jump and I get 10 feathers. If I just do the soar recalling feathers combo. This is too slow. And we have to have 2 aspects for this anyway. Actually just 1. For this we only need 1. That's the advantage, I guess. But it seems way too slow. So in general, you're not gonna have like any aspects really. You have to put like, okay, it's utility, right? We can do utility on the boots, this thing on the glove or something, and then amulet is gonna be unique. And then you have like unyielding hits here, redirected force here, and 1 more aspect. Or other ring, I guess. Probably not this. Something like this here. Casting evade consumes 1 stack of resolve to increase your damage dealt by 24%. The Firestorm is considered to be an Eagle, Jaguar, and Storm Feather skill. So we don't really want to go for the resolve stacking and this ring, I think. Even though like lots of resolve stacks are nice for the DR and for the extra damage from the Gorilla Glyph, Colossal Glyph. We probably need to do something else here. But I can find something. It's just a 40% buff, it's not that crazy. I wonder if I can do some shenanigans with one of the helms. The Firestorm is considered to be Eagle, Jaguar, and Storm Feather skill. I wonder if like something like Harmony would even work with it, but probably not. Because the Firestorm doesn't have like a like skill, like, you know, it's not a skill itself. It's just considered to be Jaguar and Eagle. But it can't then get something else from Harmony, I guess. But what about with loyalty? Less cooldown, less spirit, so that doesn't really matter. Okay. So it doesn't really matter. Hey J Rockets. I'm using Helm of Harambe to beef up your Jaguar skill because of Free Spirit Horse. And then kill stuff with Hunter. Hunter is an actual damage ability. Sounds interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like any extra scaling or something like that though. Like the rank 5 effect is just the execute, which is actually kind of good as a utility thing. Okay, need to make some boots real quick. Oh my god, we're so slow. How much move speed do these have? They have like 60% move speed.
Father bring you luck? Oh, bad luck. Very nice. Until next time.
Saw cast Vortex. That's what you want. Can I get some move speed on this? Easy clap. We're doing almost 10 trillion without resolve stacking bugs on season 6. Soar, Hunter, repeat. Interesting. Wait, I think I have the wrong aspect now. We have empowered feathers. And falling feathers, but I need to change that. Yeah, I'm just checking out some mechanics right now on the Spiritborn. Because this is going to be one of the things that is going to be... It's actually one of the most exciting things in this entire patch, I guess, is the Spiritborn new amulet. But it's also like really the only thing that the class is getting. I don't really believe in this Rushing Claw build for now. But you can also check out if you want to see anything there tomorrow. Let's make another glove or something.
Fair bit of magic in that one.
Casting a focus skill recalls only by feathers. Okay, so we do this. How many times am I gonna play Diablo? Many. Okay. Let's delete this here. Yeah, here we get 10 feathers. Now the thing is that for the amulet, it says picking up a storm feather forms a firestorm around you. And then every 5 additional, you get intensified. So it means the first one spawns it. And then I have 9 more, so I'm always going to be 1 short for the next buff, unfortunately. But there's nothing I can do about it, I guess. So... Actually, you can use this other aspect where you get the cooldown back, right? So you don't have to do all the shenanigans here. Okay, we need some cooldown to go with this, actually. Yeah, I mean, you get so much more feathers, and it works like consistently on single target. And you can use it to move around as well, right? You got a compactor pack, everything just kind of dies around you. It's basically kind of like this build that I have here with this aura right now. This is probably going to be roughly the AoE that we're going to see tomorrow. I think even larger. They said it grows when you pick up the feathers, but I guess there's like some maximum. So yeah, I guess you just kind of like soar around like this. Okay, I wonder what happens on the first cast though, when there's no feathers there. Yeah, the vacuum is huge, and it's just like, you know, probably the best way to do it, and also the most convenient. You don't have to like attack anything, you don't have to like any weird shenanigans of lucky hit. And the best way to do lucky hits on this class is with Quill Volley, and I just tried it and it was not really great. It's just like a very low chance there. Now you can jump away from your feathers. You see this? They're too far away. So you make sure you don't jump too far. Yeah, there's still some of them spawning. You do like kind of small jumps, at least if you want to buff yourself. Like this is fine. This is also fine. Yeah, okay. You can't just go full max range though, I guess. Yeah, one is missing, okay. And now, this happened. Okay, it's generally fine. But I guess you don't want to do like a full max range jump, you're going to do a bit less than that. At least for like the start. But I guess you're going to get a hang of it very soon anyway. It's kind of weird how sometimes it just kind of like reverts. You know, now, after the jump, everything's on the ground, right? Whereas when nothing is there and I do the jump, I'll spawn and pick them. And sometimes it just reverts to pick and spawn. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure why. It's because I'm doing it too fast or something? How many jumps can we do in 10 seconds? No, it's 8 seconds, right? It lasts 8 seconds, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's a bit less than 1 jump per second. Let's say like 0.8 jumps per second, because sometimes you have to walk and press other stuff and do like a hunter and whatever, so 6 to 7 casts, I guess, is pretty realistic. So this means you get roughly like a times 1000% at the end. So it starts at 300% with fire damage per 0.5 seconds, so it's like 600 per second, and it ramps up to like 6000. So the average is something like 3000. That is quite a lot. And we have a lot of like unconditional damage buffs. I think this could actually be pretty strong. Am I still having fun? This seems like work. Well, someone needs to write a guide. But yeah, that's what I'm here for. Pretty comfy amulet build. It is an amulet, which is always a W. Unique amulet makes it easy to gear. If you use Terrier's Might, you will need focus cooldown on ring and amulet. You don't use Terrier's Might for anything. Unless they somehow giga beef up the damage of monsters in turn 4, which I doubt. I think they're only buffing the HP, you know? One view is rushing claw everywhere, and most of the basic skills are also mobility skills. That's true, we should check that out. I don't really have high hopes for it, but we can try it. Four per 11 seconds. Wait, why do I have 5 ferocity? Wait, is that from right here, hitting him? I get like ferocity stacks all the time? Oh, maybe the aura. It's the aura, actually. Okay. So apparently aura counts as a hit. Also heals me. My god. Okay, if you like really fast with your mouse, you can do it pretty fast. I think it's easier on controller because you can just target lock it. Like here, you can't actually target lock with Rushing Claw. Where are the fucking feathers? Don't I have this? Ah, no. I have to do it here. Okay. That actually seems quite a lot. Oh no. How many do we spawn? Let's wait. You said Rogue is not looking good right now. I mean, Death Trap is gonna be cracked. But the rest on Rogue, not that crazy. Holy, that's yikes gameplay. Yeah, this is why I never touch Toxic Skin builds. They make Rushing Claw, Eagle Skill, and spawn feathers that way. It doesn't become an Eagle Skill. Eagle would only happen if you do this, yeah. So how many feathers is it? Shit, there's 6 feathers. That's actually a lot. Is it always 6? I think Rushing Claw can have a variable distance. $12. Oh my god. See how many casts I can do with Rushing Claw. Oh, it's gonna be tough to start a timer. Let's just start a timer at 2 and then this count. Okay, we try to count like how many casts in 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my god. Wait. Okay, that was 23, I think. That's really fast. Actually, it was 33. Okay, both times it was 33. Is there a way to do longer? Oh, it's weird. I don't have to aim very precisely. You can kind of just like aim in a general direction and we'll actually go there. So that's good. Can maybe do it even faster. Let's try this again. Yeah, I can maybe do like 35 casts or 36 casts instead of 33 in 10 seconds. But that's fine. That's a lot of casts. And we get 6 feathers every time, right? 2, 4, 6. 2, 4. And we don't even have recalling feathers. We don't need it. We just pick them up anyway. We're going back and forth. Now the question is, how is this when you have multiple targets? Unlocked mouse wheel movement. No, unlocked mouse wheel is usually a bad idea. But I'm not doing any mouse wheel movement. I don't do any movement at all. This is just rushing claw and moving cursor. Okay, it becomes a bit more erratic when you have multiple targets because you can't really aim so precisely, but you still pick up the feathers just fine, it looks like, even when the pack is a bit spread out and stuff. Can I hold down Rushing Claw? Oh, we can actually. It's kind of funny with the feathers like raining down behind me. I'm not sure if I like the idea of this being a Rushing Claw spam build, but it seems to be very superior. We get so many feathers. So if you get like 3 casts per second, giving 6 feathers each, that's 18 feathers per second versus maybe 8 feathers per second with Soar. And we only need 1 aspect here instead of 2 aspects. We can skip Turbulence and give up 1 offensive power. Where for the Soul build we need offensive and utility. So we can actually get, for example, Duelist here. And then we benefit from more ferocity stacks for Furnace or something like that. Movement to spam claw, it seems slower when holding down. Oh, can you animation cancel it or what? I'm trying like mouse wheel right now. It doesn't seem to do anything. This is just holding down right now. Actually, it's still on single target, that's pretty easy to see. Shit. Seems really fast. In fact, I'm actually not moving my cursor at all right now. We're actually target locked. I don't think we need this actually, right? I think we're actually slower if I try to mouse wheel now. At least holding down Rushing Claw and mouse wheeling seems to be slower. Because sometimes it does a step instead of an attack. Okay, let's try to spam Rushing Claw and hold and mouse wheel. It also doesn't seem like an improvement, to be honest. Yeah, just holding down the button and target locking is fine. I don't think you need to do any mouse wheel shenanigans. Bind Claw on mouse wheel. I don't think it's a matter. I mean, I can just try to spam it really fast. And it still seems the same. I'm spamming it now. You know, I can press it like 20 times a second or something, roughly. Like this. It doesn't even faster. This doesn't help us. Already feeling dizzy. Yeah. You can do the convenient way of playing with Thor, which would make this like more of a walking simulator. And Rushing Claw is like more the try-hard version, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty powerful. So with Rushing Claw, you can get to roughly double the amount of feathers, which means roughly double the damage. Plus, you get an extra power on your boots. On the other hand, you will also not always pick up all the feathers. Like, especially when you're going through a dungeon, there will probably be a lot of feathers that you leave behind when you go like through packs, basically. Because, you know, there's like a pack spread out here. Let's say there's some enemies down here. And then there's some enemies here, and you can, like, you know, you Rushing Claw from one guy to the next guy, and, you know, all these feathers there, they're like left behind now. Right? We have to go back and pick up the feathers. So realistically, I think this Rushing Claw shenanigans would probably just be something for like boss killing and pushing or so. Where you like kind of have stationary targets for a while. If you actually have like the farming scenario, I think the sword will be superior. Just because you automatically pick up all the feathers because they fly to you. How many feathers can be on the ground? Is that like a max? I guess 16, if I had to guess. Because the stacks can go to 16. What about basic skill? It only spawns the feathers when it moves you, and basically it won't move you if you're in melee range. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I think it automatically picks up 2. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so there can be maximum 16 maximum 16 feathers. Writing down some notes here. Yeah, so TLDR, I would say Rushing Claw is probably for pushing. And Soar is like the standard build for farming. So we're gonna try this tomorrow. And then the rest, I guess I have to see if like unyielding hits will work for this. Can we test this right now? We can probably test this. Unyielding hits should be easy to see. Unyielding. Commander. Can we just like take some, not Kapeleke? Oh wait, you wanted to try the movements, the basic skills, right? But yeah, I don't think we're gonna go anywhere with that. Literally. All of them are mobility tag, but Thunder Spike, right? So I don't know, let's just take Rock Splitter. Hey Kanakam, thanks for the up by the way. 5 feathers. Yeah, if you don't move, you don't get any feathers. And I mean, it does give you like 2-3 feathers or so if you move a little bit, but You know, you'd have to kind of like left click, click on the left, click on the right, and then kind of like dance around the packs. Yeah, that seems completely awful. And it won't really work on single target. Maybe if you do like evade, attack, evade, attack. Yeah, but this is like way slower, right? Like on Rushing Claw, what did we say? 18 feathers per second. Here gets, I don't know, 4 maybe. So, no way. So next I wanted to try, what was that? I forgot now, fuck. Unyielding hits. Does Claw count as a CD skill? You could cast Vortex very fast if Yule and Cry. Claw is a cooldown skill, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But there is also another rune for mobility skills, which has the same offering, I think. Yeah, cast 2, you get 100, so it's 50 per cast. So you could also get Cry. I want to see if Cry works, actually. That's a good point. We should check this. Does Cry work for this? I don't think I really want to use Cry. But it could be a way to get the focus skills. But then the thing is that for this, you can do Rushing Claw, but you still need the other aspect as well. You have to give up 2 offensive aspects for that. Where either you go 1 offensive and that's it, or 1 offensive and a utility. So that matters, I think. But we'll see. Could be a way to kind of get more of it. Why is my character so dark suddenly?
Not much. Fair bit of magic in that one.
Wonder if Overpower Mighty Throw will be a thing with the new unique. Overpower Mighty Throw. I mean, you're probably gonna go like all in for like some wombo combo. And then do like, you know, some 2 trillion hit or some shit with the Mighty Throw. Like the Mighty Throw stuff looks like the free items, man. Check on some damage numbers. I have to get rid of right here, I think. Or maybe we can see it without. Yeah, okay, actually I just realized I can't do the unyielding hits testing right now because we don't care about the feathers, we care about this firestorm that the unique creates. So testing unyielding hits is not possible right now because the unique doesn't exist. So we don't actually have to do this. I have to do this tomorrow though. I have to get the unique. Yeah, I'll compete in a PoE 2 race. I've not won a demigod yet. So we have to. What is looking good for Druid? I guess Cataclysm will remain pretty powerful. And everything else, log out. It does say the power is now a Stormfeather damage. Yeah, but I mean, generally you would expect unyielding hits to work, but there are some effects where it doesn't work, especially like some kind of proc effects like this, so it may not work. And if unyielding hits doesn't work, that will be kind of a setback here. Bulwark Druid, lol. Stoneburst. Yeah, Stoneburst could be something, I guess. But I wonder if it's gonna be better than something like Landslide, for example. I might try some Stoneburst, though. I really like the hardcore Singer Druid in Season 5. Yeah, I think the Singer stuff is kind of dead because they nerfed the cooldown reduction for it. Boulder Druid. Yeah, I don't think that they specifically nerfed anything for Druid besides like nerfing Cataclysm, or like they nerfed snapshots a little bit, but it doesn't matter much for Cataclysm. And then they just nerfed ultimates. So I'm not sure how much damage Druid loses on Cataclysm from this ultimate 200% damage cap. So I guess quite something, but I mean, the build did 150, so it was like 100 times stronger than other builds. Kind of been hit that much, I think. And Quack's Rune doesn't work for it anymore, I guess. What will be best rogue build in Season 8? Death Trap, it looks like. Yeah, Boulder should be pretty good. I wonder how good this new human form helmet is. It definitely looks cool. But I wonder if it can actually beat one of the other helms on any of the builds. Okay, anything else I wanted to test now with this? Not really, I think. I want to do the Rushing Claw and Recalling and the Cry Rune. Okay, let me try this. So, we do this. Falling Feathers, Recalling Feathers, Powered Feathers. We have to re-imprint this. Any attempt to be human is a question of is it stronger than Wild Heart Boots? Yeah, the thing is that Wild Heart Boots are extremely annoying to play with. So it's easy to not use them. I'm going to do a Maxwell post PTR podcast. We probably might do something like that. Interesting that it puts it on cooldown. Cataclysm won't overpower permanently anymore. Are you sure about that? Have you heard of Provocation? You can actually do this so fast, man. It's kind of crazy. Does this thing actually restore only 4 charges, or does it fill all charges when we have more? I need to try this. Also, still multiple. I don't think it works, actually. Because it says casting, I don't think it actually works. It doesn't pull them. Ah, no, it did work, actually. It pulled them here. One. Okay. So, I mean, this would be a way to do it. The Cry Rune. But it would still be pretty clunky because it needs 6 casts to get 1. Or 4 casts. Okay, with 4 casts and Decrepify, you could do it relatively reliably. If you do Moni. And then the Decrepify thing. Moni what? And then Soul Cry. So every 4 Rushing Claws you would get the Vortex. This might be consistent enough. It's gonna be worth trying. Hey, Sukasa. If you spawn more than 16 before Vortex, you overcap and lose the feathers. Yeah, you generally, like on the short Rushing Claws, you spawn 8, I think. Or 6. I think the shortest possible is 6. What is the longest? Let's see. Invite Crypt to the podcast or some eagers like DS Lily and Anna Cake. Yeah, I'm sure Lily would like to come to the Diablo 4 podcast. Okay, so the longest seems to be 10. Let's try this again. The whole point of fixing snapshot was to burn things like perma OP. Yeah, but they didn't fix snapshots. They just nerfed the runes. They nerfed Xan and Quax, which fixes most of these snapshots. But in the case of Cataclysm, there is still Provocation, which applies to the entire cast. That was not changed. Okay, it seems 10 feathers for a long Rushing Claw. Five for short. Okay, so it's actually 5. What if I do 2 in a row? Okay, 10. Okay, so it's 5 consistently. On the short Rushing Claws, it's 5 per cast. So in 4 casts, you get 20. You'll pick some of them up most likely, and then there's 16 on the ground that will be pulled in. So it's not bad. But we need to go recalling feathers and falling feathers and Moni Cry or What Cry, and not What Cry, Soul Cry with Moni What. Okay. I need to try this other Rushing Claw stuff. Alright, here we go. I'm just like testing stuff here. Overpowering your channeling skills seems like a major issue. Yeah, channeling skills cannot overpower in this game. It's just a game mechanic.
Until next time.
Nobody plays a druid to be human, lol. True, because they can only make bad builds like that, right? But maybe next season we can make good builds as a human druid. And people will play a human. Okay, let's try and get some Rushing Claw charges on this. Okay, we have 2 extra. I mean, good enough to do science. I guess we only get 4 back. Yeah, we only get 4. Now what about this? Hmm. Okay. That actually works just fine. You can have... Wait. We can actually get a lot more Rushing Claw charges next patch, right? Rushing Claw. Deals first increased damage and is empowered based on how many charges it has when you cast it. Ah, wait a minute. So at 4+, it strikes an additional time. But it doesn't get any extra benefit for having more charges than that. I thought it was like some benefit for... Ah, here, this one. Casting it consumes all of its charges to increase its damage by 25% per charge and hits a larger area. Okay. This is where it's coming from. This is Poised Rushing Claw. So it has 20 maximum charges, and then we can put on our boots and our amulet 15, right? So we can have 50 charges. And we get all of them back every time it refills. Now the problem is, we only have 1 cast. So I kind of want to go far like this. And then we get this reset. How long? How far does it reset? Reduce up to 4 seconds based on how far you travel with them. Can we get agility rank somewhere? Shit. Maybe one of the rings? Did it delete that? Or was it... I think I remember Mirage. There's no item that has agile ranks. Swift ranks, actually. Yeah, it's a mobility temper. Which is the same as the Rushing Claw charges. So maybe you're gonna do 1 Swift and 1 Rushing Claw charges. You do give up quite a lot for it. But it will allow you to cast way faster. If you can actually cast this, like this, basically, with 35 charges, that should be way more damage than, you know, doing this and running, and doing this and running. Like 50 charges instead of 35 charges is roughly like a 50% upgrade, let's say. But we're definitely casting way slower here. So if you can perma-spam, like this, and we have enough Swift ranks, maybe it's fine. You can also get a Shroud. That's one. And can get rid of Shaco. What's the base cooldown on this thing? 20 seconds. So a good Shaco will put this to 9.2. Now, how much do we lose on the Swift value? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four, 5. Why was it just so fast and then it was slower? It doesn't seem like really you need to go very far to get good value. This is like roughly a third reset. And this seems to be like roughly half of that. So full value is a third reset, which makes sense because this is roughly 12 seconds. And this is 4 seconds at maximum. So this should reset a third. And then if you do like just a small rushing claw, we get like roughly half the value, which also makes sense because with the falling feathers, we get like roughly half the feathers compared to a long range rushing claw. So it seems to scale in the same way. It seems like the minimum rushing claw distance is half of the maximum. If you look at this. So how low can we get our rushing claw cooldown? Is there any other sources of cooldown that we could go for? We can't get anything on Ragnarok boots or something. We do have Midnight Sun, but we don't actually want to use that, I think. Because it doesn't have anything that helps us. Besides the cooldown. I mean, it could be cooldown on the neck. Yeah, Jackham Shell could be an option. Shaco and Jackham Shell. But that's kinda bad. We actually lose value from the Swift rank. Here, this is so fast. Sometimes it's so fast, but I'm not sure why. I know, walking sushi. You do what you gotta do. I don't miss Lush. We'll see tomorrow how realistically we can make this work. But yeah, maybe like a big Shaco for the big cooldown. And then a cooldown on the neck. And then we do like one temper with Swift ranks, one temper with Rushing Claw charges. And I guess maybe to get the build online at the start, you can actually go double Swift ranks. And then you have something like, I don't know, how much can you get? You can get a lot of Swift ranks, I get, if you do this. 6. So you could have 10 ranks. Which means you get minus 5 seconds. I mean, another option would be to do like, for example, do like Rushing Claw, all your charges are gone, and then Soar away, Rushing Claw, Soar away. Oh, we don't have to cooldown now though. Yeah, you don't reset that actually. So maybe you do something like this as well. You just like Charge in, evade away, charge in, evade away. So I think this is kind of what this is gonna look like. The Russian Claw build. Okay. We'll have to see. Looks like Spiritborn is going to be pretty good in Season 8. I mean, Spiritborn is in a pretty decent spot. It's just that some other builds and other classes are pretty overpowered. I don't think that Spiritborn will really get close to that. Like Earthquake and Cataclysm will probably remain really powerful the way I expected. Necro's gonna go way down. Rogue will have Death Trap, but yeah, that might be better than anything on Spiritborn, but it's still Rogue, and Rogue suffers a lot from like the CC nerfs. Sorg is just like generally not very strong. So yeah, I think Spiritborn will be doing pretty well actually. Seems silly it won't overpower Incurred when you had 4+ charges. Yeah, it's like it only uses the bonus that you have in that moment. So if you have more than 4 charges, you'll get 1 additional strike. And if you're at exactly 3, you get a crit. And if you're exactly 2, you get an overpower. And if you're exactly 1, you get a heal. So realistically, you will never see any of these effects here. Because, you know, if you really want to do any kind of damage with Russian Claw using this aspect, then you will use Poised Russian Claw, which already gives you 20 charges by default. So you never get to the point where you get here, right? You will always have more than 4. If you just like perma spam all the time, like the base cooldown of that skill is 20 seconds. So with 20 charges, every 20 seconds, even with no cooldown reduction anywhere, and with no swift ranks for whatever reason, you would get all the charges back to 20 before that ever happens, really. Yeah, okay, I mean you can't spend more than 20 charges in 20 seconds. You can spend them in like 8 to 9 seconds or something. But if you even miss like 1 point in Swift or something, you're gonna get it back. So it's like, why would you do that? Necro still looks amazing. Spear, Lance, Sever, all pretty good. Yeah, it has pretty good builds. But I guess people expect like these kind of like big power builds now on the Necro, and I guess I don't have that. Like the blood wave's going way down. Anything else here for the Spiritborn, actually? I think I kind of figured out at least where I will start tomorrow with this. Got like some interesting insights. Other than that, not really much happened here, right? On Spiritborn, this is like literally it. And I don't really think that this, you know, Noxious Resonance plus Season Power shenanigans is gonna go anywhere either. So this is basically about it here when it comes to Spiritborn. Now, one other thing to try would be something like getting a Quaxrune online. Quaxrune is really good. How much does it cost, actually? How much offering is that? Quax is 400. So that is actually a huge thing for many classes next season. So previously it only empowered 1 attack, which allowed this whole snapshotting shenanigans. But now it gives you a 100% damage buff for 1 second. So it can apply to as many attacks as you do in that time. Even like not even a skill. It can apply to non-skills, it applies to everything. So if you have like insane amounts of offering generation, this could be very good for some builds. So for example, if you attack like 6 times per second with Twisting Blades, and you do like what? You get 150 offering per second. For you get like almost 1.5 decrepify cast per second basically. And then you can use Soul. Yeah, Tam is core skill, for example. What does decrepify? You could do it even faster on a Spiritborn, I think. With mobility skill. Cast 2 mobility skills. Like basically your generators, for example, if you play like a Thrash build. Thrash is a mobility skill. You do 2 Thrashes, you get a decrepify proc. And do Soul. And Quacks. So every 6 times you Thrash, you get a Quacks activation. So if you can attack 6 times per second with Thrash, you have permanent 100% damage buff. I don't think it will be able to do this. Is there a cooldown on what? There's a 1 second cooldown. So maybe not. But worst case, you can also just do like Thrash, Quacks, which means every 8 Thrashes, you get a Quacks proc. So there's definitely some stuff like that where you can do some interesting things. I wonder what else could really abuse this. All kinds of like kind of proc builds can use it now. They gotta make the Polearm uber viable. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. When is next season? On 29th of April. But tomorrow is the PTR. Crushing Hand with the aspect 10 hits. For Crushing Hand, it doesn't really matter. Like the aspect for Crushing Hand is actually relatively weak. Anyway, did it change it actually? Unrelenting? No. You usually don't use it. Usually for Crushing Hand build you have like Kapeleke, and then Unyielding, Redirected Force, and then Midnight or Starless. And then you have one more aspect here, which is Moonrise. Yeah, so you don't actually use the Crushing Hand aspect. April 29th is the season. What's the most intense hardcore moment, death and almost death I had in before? Well, there's one very famous moment. But I mean in D4 is relatively easy on hardcore, to be fair. Like since the expansion came out especially, I don't think I haven't lost a single character since the expansion. So it has become very easy these days. So it doesn't really feel like such a thrill. I mean, sometimes you have like these moments where, you know, kind of shit hits the fan. Especially when I do like some kind of like pit pushing and I get like 3 stacks on the boss. And I gotta be very careful suddenly. But most of the time I don't really feel much in danger these days. But yeah, how do I decide when to optimize for damage versus survivability? It's relatively straightforward in this game, I would say. You kind of just try to cap your armor and resistances, and that gives you kind of like a very good baseline of defense. And then it's just like, yeah, stack a bit more life than usual, for example. Like, for example, right now I have like 4k life, which is a very low value. But you can very easily double this, for example. With like 2 rolls on your gear or something, you can get to like 8k life. And suddenly you're like quite tanky. And, you know, stuff like that. Like stacking a bit of defense is relatively easy in D4, I think. Even without many big downsides. Which hour will the PTR tomorrow? It will be in 23 hours or in 24 hours. 9 Dungeon 100 in Season 0. Yeah, that was definitely one of the most exciting challenges, I guess. In Season 0, it was really tough to do in Diamond Dungeon 100. And I was one of probably very few people that actually achieved that back in before they nerfed Diamond Dungeons and before the first season came out. So yeah, in the early days, hardcore was way more interesting. Even just leveling up, I actually lost a few characters just leveling back then when, you know, leveling took like 60 hours or 80 hours or something like that. So I played like all week, and there's like one character at like level 98.5, for example, once. Another character at 92, I think, back in Season 0. Is the expansion mandatory for endgame? Well, it's mandatory if you are somewhat serious about playing this game. But if you're not, then you can kind of get away without it. But it will be a bit scuffed. Okay, anything else you want to do here right now with the Spiritborn? I really need to think about this Quax rune, where we can use this the best. But for some builds it'll be crazy. Like some builds have like some insane offering generation. For example, Deathtrap also has... Oh, Deathtrap actually has like insane... This is actually gonna be insane, really insane, I guess, for Deathtrap, because we have the ultimate rune here. Here, cast the ultimate skill. So every 3 Deathtraps, you're gonna get Quax activation. If you do it Sun, Quax. That's kind of wild, actually. What do I have in the planner there right now? The Sun mod for the Shroud. And Seer Vex. Yeah, this is not that crazy. Quax would definitely be better. I was waiting for several days. I'm not sure what exactly you're referring to, Ma. I mean, the season start streams were usually in a range of like 30 to 40 hours. But yeah. The good old days of Season 0. It was good old days, man, actually. Kinda miss it. Floria F, man. Oh my god, I wanna play that again. Hey Gary, by the way. Hello, Shamas. What other builds have like insane offering generation? It's mostly ultimate spam builds. But there could be something like this here, Ahu. Ahu is gonna become a pretty good rune now. I wonder how much you can trigger it against bosses as a rogue. It'll say 15 offering, 100% lucky hit against non-healthy enemies. So below 80%. So you have it for most of the fight now against most targets. You can probably proc Quax like permanently on some high lucky hit builds. I definitely need to try Ahu plus Quax. These are too slow. It's also too slow. Yeah, Tam would work with something like Twisting Blades or so, where you like attack it really fast, like 5-6 times per second. But there's not many scenarios like this. Like Soul does work, pretty Crapify. Cast a skill for cooldown. Is there like any build that can do like multiple cooldowns per second? Well, welcome, Lush. Here's Pock. If you spend all of your resources, you get 100 offering. Deathblow or something could do this, right? With Dove Blow, you can do POC. Like, all the Capelake builds can do that too, actually. They can do, like, probably like a Quark soon every 2 seconds or something like this. That's usually what you have here, right? It's like POC. I'm missing some resource generation. I used the wrong chest ago, that's why. Why does it not consume it? What? Oh, because it has to be a non-basic skill, right? Capelake makes it a basic skill, so it actually doesn't work with Quarks anymore. That's kind of funny. But they changed it now. I'm casting a skill other than a basic or defense. I wonder if that would actually allow it to work now. I guess you could kind of like carry it around, and then when you press Hunter, you get the buff. And then you have like 1 second of the buff, and you can like ding 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 ding. And then you can... I mean, this is defense, but you can do Ravager, for example. That's not a defensive skill. And doesn't interrupt your animation. So you can do stuff like that. Okay, it's gonna be a bit weird, I suppose. What else is there? Inflict a crowd control, gain double offering if it isn't a slow or chill. Yeah, so knock is way worse now, as I realized. I actually had to think about it a little bit when it comes to making speed farming builds. Because usually I had knock on like rogue speed farming builds. Knock and jar or something like that. But I can also do Neo jar. Neo is fine. Usually Neo works just fine to get proc jar. You get like a teleport roughly every 3 seconds or so, which is pretty good. As long as you don't get hit. But if you just one-shot everything in turn 4, usually you get it all the time. Evade build has Sem, I guess. This is not good enough. This is also not good enough. Okay, so there's definitely a few candidates here. So like something like Death Trap is spamming ultimates. Something like really high like a hit with Ahu. That could work, stuff like barrage builds or something. Something like very high attack speed can do Tam or Pok. Yeah, I think I'm gonna see a lot of like Quacks use actually next season. It's gonna be interesting to see. That sounds funny, ma. You missed the last bits of the stream last night. No, I didn't get the first Merc. I was third Merc. I was like 10 minutes behind the first. But my start was really awful. I was extremely slow in Act 1. I was like 4 zones behind or something by the end of Act 1. And I managed to close the gap down to 1 zone at the end, but it wasn't enough. What's the best way to get heads now with the buffs? There's only one way to get it, which is farming the zones for the cocoons. Yeah, I mean, in both races we got really unlucky in Act 1 actually. And both times Act 1 was just like a horrible time. And last time was actually really bad. I think it was like 1 hour, was it? 1 hour 13 or 1 hour 17, I think, for Act 1. And usually I aim for roughly an hour or slightly less. So, oof. After that was kind of okay. Alright, I think we kind of Got everything I want to do here. If the death trap build, we'll see tomorrow. It's gonna be experimenting. I have like a stuff lying around anyway. I can just take it from the stash. Do death trap action. Oh, okay, not if I can't copy my character, so we'll see. Is Crushing Hand better, or did it not change it at all? They did not change anything about it. Most Spiritborn stuff did not change. Which means that generally Spiritborn remains relatively decent. But you have to see that Tone 4 is now roughly 5 times harder as compared to before. So it will be not that easy to make a setup where you just kind of like one-shot everything in Tone 4. And Crushing Hand was usually pretty good at that. It might still be good enough once it like really decked out. It's a really good farming build especially. But yeah, when it comes to like killing bosses, Crushing Hand will feel not great, I think. Okay guys, I'm gonna do a bit of Dragonkin now. I think we've done like all the prep I kinda wanted to do. At least when it comes to the Rogue and Spiritborn. In case you're wondering, this is hashtag and not sponsored. But I wanted to continue a little bit more with Dragonkin. Let's do that. We had 15 hours on this game actually. You were hyped for eyeshots until you saw the unique item. Why of all items it's a helmet? I don't mind that it's a helmet, but the problem is that this helmet is probably not better than a Perdition helm. So that's kind of the problem with it. Honestly, I think I should fucking move away from making these insane armor slots that give you damage. I mean, for like individual builds, that's okay. But you know, stuff like Perdition just needs to die, I think. They just need to get rid of it. Dragonkin, let's go. So in case you don't know this game, this came out into early access 4 days ago. I've been playing it a bunch. I also have a video up on it if you want to see it on my YouTube. Kind of small studio, just in early access, so it's a bit jank. But I had quite some fun progressing my character. Here we are. Okay, so I think I cleaned up everything last night. You're playing an Oracle, which, yeah, this is like my basic attack. Generates a lot of energy. This is like my main attack, which is like some wave that zaps. We have, this is our evade, and this is our teleport skill. We have Atomic Storm, which is like a nice AoE slow and damage. And I have an armor buff. So that's what we're doing here. Okay, I think I just kind of like cleaned this up yesterday. And we had like a really nice setup to just start grinding. Yep, okay. So let's go. Using augmentation. Upon dodging, the character shatters a flask to create a temporary adaptive damage field. I want to try this out. Let's do a little warm-up on extreme, I guess. Start. Again, category is incorrect. Oh no. Dragonkin. Let's go. I changed my YouTube but not my Twitch for some reason. Yeah, if you guys want to learn about this game, exclamation mark Dragonkin. And for YouTube, I have the top of the description, there's a link. They do have plans on multiplayer. Yeah, there's like a roadmap somewhere. And multiplayer patch, I think, is like one of the 1 or 2 next updates or something. It's definitely coming this year. Scored tracker. Alright. I'm really fast actually. I have like some nice movement speed buffs. Late 2025. Okay. I'm trying to play PoE1, but I don't like it. I feel like it's not smooth like Diablo. PoE2 more like it. Yeah, I mean, PoE1 is like a very old game with a very old engine and stuff. PoE2 definitely does a lot of things better. On the other hand, PoE2 is a much slower paced, much harder game than PoE1. So it could still feel like it's actually not really smooth. You know? Like if you know what you're doing and play like a meta build and you're crushing everything, then PoE2 is pretty fast and smooth, yeah, but... For example, in PoE1 you have mobility skills. And you can like teleport all the time. And in PoE2 you can't do that because these skills do not exist. Outside of like very late in-game stuff. So... a bit yes and no, I guess. But I do have to say, like, from the overall flow and combat design and so on, I like PoE2 the most out of all the RPGs currently. Like, the combat is definitely the best in PoE2, I think. D4 also has great combat, but rarely so these days, because everything has become too easy. And just kind of like way too fast, and everything is like getting one shot and stuff. There's like some kind of sweet spot where I do like kind of like slow speed runs where D4 is really good. And D3 as well. Both of them do that really well. But the thing is that is usually not what you do that often. Why is this guy getting stuck there? What is he doing? Move. Guess they want to polish the endgame, yeah. So one thing they're gonna do this year is like the tracker update. That's gonna be the class that I'm gonna main, I guess, in this game here. Then it's gonna be like new zones and I guess like a campaign extension and stuff. Because right now you only have like chapter 1 of the campaign and it's gonna be like multiple chapters. And with more chapters, that means there's gonna be like more monster types and more maps and so on. And there's gonna be more variety in like what you're doing, I guess, and the objectives. Right now there's only like a few different biomes. Because the campaign is not done. So... around. Looks too old. Yeah, the graphics are not like super impressive or so. I think the map design is kind of nice though. Like, the maps look good. And monsters and animations, yeah, okay. They're alright. And also gonna get more flashy as you go, basically. I'm still like not really in the late game or so. I probably want us to be up there. I don't understand the Nacon gaming website, seems to be mostly about gear. Yeah, I don't know exactly all the stuff that they're doing, but it's like some kind of larger thing. Like they do make games, but I think they also do hardware, yes. What does D4 do the best out of all RPGs? Oh, it's the best for casual gamers, I guess. Because it's like easy, not too complicated to kind of be moderately successful. Like, even though, like, you know, all the details of, like, making it a good build are, you know, quite complicated and quite, like, you know, intense in terms of the theory crafting, you know, kind of getting most of the way there is pretty easy in D4. And I guess it just has, like, this kind of, like, you jump in, you start blasting kind of feel to it, you know, like, from the start. Close the breach. I guess go over there. D4 is the most cinematic. Yeah, graphics and stuff are also like really good. Sound design is really good. Campaign skip. Oof. No, 2 Rex fragments. Let's go. And here, and here. Was nerfing everything in Season 8 due to Connor being too easy? Well, it was mostly due to everything being way too ridiculously OP. You know, which kind of killed Season 8, sorry, Season 7 really fast, right? Like, a lot of people just had nothing to do because, you know, you went into Tournament 4 like on day 1 or something. Then what do? Oh, there's actually really good boots. You lose 1% walking speed, but lots of armor and HP, and block damage instead of thorns. That's nice. Is PTR download for the 4 out? That should be tomorrow. I'm not sure if there's preload for PTR. You find the graphics in PoE 2 to be better? Yeah, some people say this, some people say that. I think they're pretty comparable. PoE 2 definitely has good graphics. Epoch crafting is so nice, and it's about to get better. Dude, I might just like blast a lot of last Epoch in April when they start the new cycle. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'll be leveled here. For some reason my roaming's behind on levels. I'm not sure why. 3 more levels, then we get a big one. I see anything from LA News coming to the point in a few seasons. 94 needs some really big changes for that. Like, you know, we don't have like something like the monolith system. We don't really have any crafting in D4. Like, they need to do a lot of updates to like even introduce like the basics of that, right? And this will only happen in expansion, so at this point like, you know, knees deep in like expansion 2 development, and this is basically what they will be working on. And if you're talking about in a few seasons from now, yeah, the few seasons from now is expansion 2. So yeah, so maybe something will happen. I think we lost the guys somewhere here. I remember this happened to me last time. Where the hell are they? Yeah, I think it's the teleport. The teleport breaks the follower or something. He just gets stuck. In fact, it seems to reset. Wood? Where the hell is he now? Okay, here's a guy chilling. Fuck. Should have done a teleport. Go try to be out. Let's come back. The Seeker nerf for Spiritborn is such a joke. Yeah, there's kind of like a blanket 200% cap on all the ultimates, even though some of them had like, you know, plus 2000% and others had like plus 300. So you just give them all the same treatment, which is obviously like a very unequal nerf. On the other hand, good riddance, man. I think the Seeker build was not fun at all. I tried it a little bit in Season 7, and I didn't find it fun. We're on the wrong side now. Can I TP for this? Fuck. I think the build diversity is going to be focused around trying skill modifiers on the same skills. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like the system is definitely made to have a lot of variety, yeah. Especially if they start expanding like the amount of like hex fragments that exist, like the different modifiers that exist and so on. I'm not sure if I have been able to find all of them yet, because I'm only at like the point where I can find rare items, and then there's still legendary, and then there's mythic. And then there's also, I'm not sure if that can apply to fragments, but it's also the draconic loot and the divine loot. But I think that's only items. But either way, there's like 2 more rarity tiers that I have not seen yet. So there might be like a lot more like, you know, skills and, you know, whatever stuff that I might still experience. And I think there's gonna be like a good amount of variety, yeah. Depends a bit on the balance as well. Might be a bit, you know, clunky balance right now, but that can be fixed. Like, I definitely noticed that as I leveled up, I got like interesting stuff to work with, you know. And I actually have been changing my setup quite a bit, even though it looks like I still have like the same basic skill and the same wave that I used from the start. And I like these 2 skills and they're pretty effective. You know, I've been like changing the modifiers around quite a lot, for example, and I have like different utility skills and different wormling skills, and they do different stuff now and so on, so. Okay, let's try to not do any teleport. I just like carefully walk up there. Seems like it works this time. Okay. Yeah, for these escort quests, just don't do any teleports, I guess. Next fragment. Yeah, but look at this, there's like a lot of these like rare fragments and stuff that we're getting now. It's actually kind of nice, yeah. The rare greater wave effect is 15% extra. Where's my wave right now? Does it even have area effect online right now? It's +6. So at some point we can do this here, this is good. This is also very nice. 150 damage, skill reduces dodge cooldown. Oh, I actually have that, I just realized. Spry. Forgot about this. Nice. So you can like teleport around, kite them, keep attacking. What else we got? Ally. Toxic damage, repulsion. Oh my god. So these guys hurt a lot, man. We're playing on extreme right now, which is like the 4th lowest difficulty or something. It sounds pretty hard. That stuff hurts, but then comes Desolation, 1, 2, 3, 4 or something, and then comes, there's another one with multiple tiers after that. We need some serious gear for that at some point, I think. I wonder if I'm supposed to like get to the highest difficulty. This guy just has life drain, electric damage, elite damage. That seems kind of legit actually. What do we have here? Electric, elite, bonus gold. Okay. The life drain would be interesting to try though. Oh my god. Let me see what killed me there. This guy just spawned and did something. I want to try to take a bit of damage and then see the life drain stuff. Yeah, okay. I think we're getting to the point where a bit of life drain would be good. Any advice where you can track builds for this game? I don't know, there might be some YouTubers or something that do something, but I'm not sure if there's like any websites covering it yet or something. I know at Maxwell at least we don't have anything so far. So we'll see. I mean, it just kind of got started here. I can show you my build if you want, if you're playing an Oracle. So my main attack here is Electric Wave. I'm trying to stack like electric damage. I have Atomic Storm as kind of like a AoE damage and slow utility. I have the Arcane Portal. of chaotic armor for some defense. Yeah, I'm mostly going for resource, electric damage. Playing Oracle, okay. Yeah, I think Electric Wave is nice because it can hit multiple times, especially on like big enemies, it can melt them. I don't really understand what these guys are doing. That's insane. I don't know what Imperceptible does. Is there like some kind of like documentation of only elite affixes? That would be nice. Need to be careful actually. We have already 3 deaths, I think. Quickly teleported there. Please no builds which does exploit the blind. Yeah, realistically, I guess you're not gonna find much in terms of builds and stuff. But maybe some content creators trying to pick up on Dragonkin. Depends also like how much they're gonna patch outside of the big patches they're planning to do. Maybe they're not really gonna do like a lot of balance updates and stuff like with mini patches. You know, maybe they're gonna wait like 2 months and then do like the big patch and then another 2 months and do another big patch. And there's gonna be like some balancing in there, of course. And that might just be it. So maybe you can just play whatever you see people playing for now without really having worries about it getting changed. I mean, I'm not sure if this is like a good or bad build or whatever that I'm doing here. I think I'm doing fine for what I can do with this class for now. But yeah, on the other hand, I still need to learn how to build defenses. I do die way too much for my taste. Oh, density here, holy. These fucking flowers do so much damage. It's crazy. And you can shoot like the entire screen. Okay, soon to 30 actually. I wanted to try to hit 30, so I think at 30 get like legendary items. And potentially legendary hex fragments, which could be huge. So we'll see. I'm not sure about the Draconic loot. There's also Draconic loot, which is like... It has like 2 upsides and 1 downsides in addition to everything else it has. It's like kind of like a modifier to an item. And I found 1 Draconic item so far when I was playing on Desolation 1. It can only happen from Desolation 1 and onwards difficulty. But it's kind of tough. You have to kind of pay attention for that. The stats are not weighted differently, Spider Cow. Besides the fact that the game knows it just wants to mess with you. Of course. There is actually a dungeon after all of this. I feel these hunts are very long, to be fair. If you just want to do like a quick session, I feel like it would be probably better if they were like just half as long. Like, I actually go from like one zone to another zone in here, like, right? I was like a completely different area, and then I went here. I feel like maybe the hunt should just end after the first area, for example. And we do like long sessions, that's fine, but if I also do like some, you know, 10-minute run or something, like, I am pretty fast. I can't do these under 10 minutes. Most of the time it's longer. Oh my god. Look at the stuff with energy regen. Yeah, I tried this actually. It only works for the active regeneration you get from your basic skill. It's not for passive regeneration. So it's not that useful, I think. Unless you actually use your basic skill a lot. It's more of these flowers. Oh my god. Gotta be careful actually. I've only one more death. Ah, I think, wait a minute, we have this effect here where once they shoot... Can we see this here somewhere? The effects of the run? No. I think there's like this like explosion. That's what kills me. It's like one elite affix that's like on all of them. The vision went from 3 to 4 per second. Oh, maybe there's no decimals then. Interesting. Because I tried it, and I tried like emptying my energy. And then I timed how long it takes for it to go to full. And it was the same. So maybe there is no decimals. But you managed to get like to the next breakpoint. I need to try this again then. Or is there like a different stat you're talking about? Was there actually like a stat called energy regen instead of energy gain? Energy gain is the one I'm talking about. Which is like here, energy gain 13%. So this does nothing for me right now, besides giving me a little bit more when I left click. Ah, it's an iconic stat. Ah, okay. I haven't seen that yet. Good Good luck on Dragonkin eggs. Man, this is a crappy map. Holy. Also, why are these guys so tanky? They're protected by something. Yeah. Dude, the fucking plant is walking. I didn't know they can walk. Okay, ass, dude. These guys that are charged are kinda nuts. These guys take no damage for some reason. What the fuck is going on? Is there like another guardian? It seems like the range on that thing is way too large. It's like off screen. Here's the guy. Oh, 4 Hexfang on rare. Kinda legit. Bottle time. Oh my god. Okay, we got almost a free chest actually. Okay, not bad. Oh, we murdered that guy. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. What the fuck? What does the imperceptible do? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you have to kill everything around them and then you can attack them or something. I mean, imperceptible means you can't see them, so I don't know what it means exactly, but maybe sometimes you can attack them and sometimes you can't. And the Dracomundus. So it continues here now. This thing has plus 64 attack. Is that an upgrade? Huh. Where the hell do we go now? Stay on the right. Seems like there's actually a big part of this map that I have not actually explored yet. I went to the wrong portal. But here's a point of interest. Attack, elite damage, electric damage. Figure out the life drain, this is legit actually. That's a lot. Yeah. I think I have to actually go down there. To the ruins. Armor barrier, HP cooldown. That is also legit, but I kinda want the bonus XP, I think. Damn, that has like... This is basically best in slot stats, I think. But I want the bonus XP for now, because I want to level. Wait, what? Does this game come to max wall? Right now there's no plans, but we'll see. This thing is 30% walking speed. Wait, is this like another dungeon now or what? This hunt is like giga long, man. This is still the same hunt. Wait, what? Okay, he just starts blasting me, man, as I go in. Okay, then. Oof. Okay, we gotta be careful, yeah. But we are melting him at least. Really fast with that wave. Okay. Oh shit. I think I have to do another round here. I realized today that the thing was broken. Okay, so I have to do the entire like act boss fight. I didn't realize that this hunt is actually for this boss here. What's I missing? Oh my god. Starting to like fucking dots here, what's going on? Did I double loot here? Looks like it actually. Yeah, I can actually just explode all these things here before I walk in there, just makes it easier. All the hunts take on average 45 minutes or something. Yeah, they're pretty long. We have to commit to like one run. I'm not 100% sure what happens when you complete the entire hunting board. Then you just do the chaos hunts, I guess, afterwards. So there's like the pre-designed hunts, and then there's like the chaos hunts that you can like build it yourself. I've not tried those yet. But I guess you can do like a bit of target farming at the end. Maybe leveled here, in the middle of the boss fight. Which difficulty? I'm playing on extreme right now. I've done like a bunch of Desolation 1 and Extreme. I kind of like jumping between the two. It's just because I haven't played the game in a few days now. Didn't want to jump in on Desolation 1 because I can get one tap from a lot of stuff. Depends a bit on the modifiers. Yeah, we're melting him so hard with the waves. Because they keep flying. It's pretty nuts. Oh. Wait, he just vanishes. Usually it's like the animation playing. But I guess they cut out the cutscene. So he's just gone. Okay. Bye, I guess. Yeah, 28. So I got 2 level ups. I wonder how good the armor piercing is, yeah. Grants temporary bonus to armor piercing when using cooldown skill. Spare stuff could also be good. Okay, we did this hunt. Literally deleted. Yeah, my build is very good against these kind of bosses because the wave just kind of keeps doing damage because he's so big. It looks like Navi from Avatar. A little bit, I guess. But it has like the scales here. It's like a dragon kind of thing. Okay, armor, barrier, block, reflex. 51 reflex is actually a lot. I might use this. Armor, barrier, reflex, 75. Doesn't have the block here. He has braces of energy gain. Okay. Armor, HP, elite, fire. I don't want to change the helm. I wanted a bonus XP. Okay. I mean, I could keep something like this around in case I want to swap to it for like a really hard boss or so, but realistically, I don't think I'll do that. Not at this point in the game. So I don't think I'm going to keep something like this around, but maybe later on I would actually have one with like bonus XP or one with cooldown or something. Although I guess at some point it's going to hit max level, that's it, right? Level 50 I think is max level. And we're already at 28. So let's just sell everything. Okay, let's see. Iron creates a line of coal that hits enemies. No. Lightning core, armor. Here's darts with energy gain and defensive stance. I'll save that one. Darts with greater area of effect might also be worth saving. Then we have this here, which is very similar to this actually. It's the same that I have already, just in a different layout. I'll save that. Okay, here's electrifying charge, ice damage, shockwave, safe distance, repels enemies. Nah. Wave with a rare area of effect. Oh, that seems kinda nice. I'll save this too. Any space. And he's a wave with cost longer duration, but it's like a triple. So later when this expands, we can maybe do something with that. Okay. Let's put it here for now. Wouldn't Concealment Rune work well with Shroud? Concealment Rune with Shroud. Why do you want that? Concealment Rune is pretty bad. Doesn't really do anything. There's no build that really wants that. Okay guys, I need to go. I have actually a meeting in 5 minutes. What is stealth? I mean, Shroud already gives you a stealth when you're not attacking, and Concealment also can only give you stealth when you're not attacking. So you don't really get much out of it. Do we have an upgrade available? No, we are 10. But I can check if we can craft the ring. No, we don't have these mutts, man. These mutts are super rare, man. 5. I need 200. Very cool. I wonder if I should unlock the legendary rings, and maybe the legendary rings need different materials that I have many of. Because here I have like 100 of this, and I have 250 of this. So I wonder if it would be easier to craft a legendary compared to a rare ring. I guess we'll see. You confused what levels your city? I think it's just kind of like character XP. But you only track it when you're here, basically. You don't track it like everywhere else. But anyway, how far am I with the hunts? So we've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 of them. There's left 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So you're almost halfway with those. But some of them have really high difficulty. So it's going to be like 9, these are like 8, 9, 10, 11. So these are like very high. Here, there's Calamity 1, Desolation 5. I'm not nowhere near ready for these things. So I'm not sure if I will be, though, by the time I get there. Wait a minute, so 2 is medium. Hard. Very hard. Extreme. So we just did extreme, which is the equivalent of 5. I have done Desolation 1, which is 6. And then it's Desolation 2. I guess something like Desolation 2 I can kind of try right now. But that's 7. But yeah. We said have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is basically like another 5, 6 hours or something of blasting. Until we get to the point where you have to go beyond Desolation 2. So by then, we're gonna be quite a lot more powerful. But then I guess the monster level also goes up, so I'm not very sure what's gonna happen. And I'm not sure when we get a pendant. I don't have a pendant yet. Somehow I need to increase my health and my barrier, I think. But we'll see. V-star points and the chalice points also add points to the city. Ah, the chalice adds points to the city, okay. That's good to know, because I always wondered what it does. There's like no pop-up or anything. I thought it's kind of like, okay, you need to collect all of them in like one zone. Here. So I should pay attention to that a little bit. You have like many of them that we can still gather, I guess. Maybe I'm gonna do like a little exploration round for the zones. Just to get that all of this. Can we TP up here? No. There are these chalices, but yeah. You can see the names already, but they can't go there. Yeah, in general, there's like a bunch of like tooltips and like UI elements missing here and there, but that's what it is, I guess. Also, what is this currency here? The dust. I don't have no idea. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. So I'm gonna wait someone. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, before PTR. So let's see what happens. Let's do DM today. Come on, guys.